All right, we got some thumbs up
All right.
in view. Both stages look ready, so we're going to count this down.
Here we go in
3,
3, 2, 1. Tetris!
Tetris.
Ooh.
And we got a reminder from Tech that we got like 130 players, so that's the bar.
Yeah, 130 players. That is insane. Well, you know, up top we have DanV versus Sodium. Down at the bottom we have Alex T versus Eren. Now, Eren making it here round 1. This is Eren's second year in a row making a large upset to advance to round 1.
Yeah. Who did Eren have to go through this time?
I'd have to look back at the bracket.
Yeah, I remember it like vaguely, but
But you know, making it, I mean, it's kind of tough because anyone that's made the gold bracket, obviously you have your top 16 seeds, but everyone that played in round 0, some of those matches you can't really call an upset even if there's a seed disparity, just because everyone is so close in skill with each other this year.
Oh, right, yeah, just the number of maxes alone, it was just a log jam in like the 10 to 12 range.
But right now we got a bunch of great starts from everyone.
Yeah, nice tuck from Eren there. Backs down to Tetris.
Yeah, to advance to this round, I believe Eren beat Heps, and last year Eren beat Sodium, actually.
Okay, so if they're on the same side of the bracket here, we may see a rematch of that. Could be possible. So I was watching DanV earlier, super strong and consistent, taking out Broden.
Yeah, and then of course Eren's opponent Alex T recently has been the #1 ranked player in FMS since CTWC 2023.
And
so that's 8 months maintaining a high level of your fair median score.
And on fire with all these record-breaking performances. Definitely, you know, in the camera spotlight of pushing the bar or raising the bar for competitive Tetris and high score records.
Yeah, 210 for DanV, 210 for Sodium, separated by a literal single.
Yeah, wow, so close. This is neck and neck.
And down at the bottom, 215 for Alex T, 233 for Eren.
So yeah, we got word that Heps was beaten again this year for Eren to advance. So two-time.
Yeah, and then as far as Sodium and DanV goes, according to FMS, DanV has led between these two, like a player-to-player comparison. DanV has led Sodium and FMS score by 150,000 points, which is nothing to sneeze at, especially when you start talking about integrating those higher-level scores. But they are both consistently maxing out in comp, and we've seen a lot of, you know, just even the first round of, or rather the first few matches of round 1, we've seen some stellar play already.
Yeah, just like constant 1.2, 1.2, 1.1. That's what you want to see. That's the kind of consistency you need to be a Tetris World Champion.
Yeah, right now, DanV having to do a small amount of burning. This drought might play out in his favor, or actually, never mind. That long bar dependency, definitely not favorable. Eyepiece does make his way over there to the left, so Sodium's going to be able to close the gap. And down at the bottom, we're still separated by anywhere from 1 to 2 Tetrises.
Yeah, Alex T in the lead. Both players clean.
Yeah, it looks like all boards are relatively fine. Eren looking for a J piece, didn't find it.
We are zero. There was 0 points difference between Sodium and DanV a moment ago, so definitely a match for the ages in terms of being close.
And we're starting to see a lot of that today.
Yeah.
You know, especially, you know, normally you walk into these matches and you're like, oh, there's one clear favorite. They're just going to be more efficient than each other. On 18, these players have gotten their stacking fundamentals down, and they are finding accurate adjustments to make.
Yeah, this year just feels different that way. You don't see a lot of sweeps. I mean, I've only bared witness to, I think, one of them today. But players have gotten a lot more consistent and a lot stronger to be able to get this far, especially.
443 for Alex T, 381 for Eren, 475 for Sodium, 484, make that 85 now for DanV. And Sodium is up higher, so there is no Tetris immediately available.
Right. This is a chance for DanV to extend the lead now. Game was super neck and neck up to this moment. Sodium having to now take a couple of burns. Not the ideal pieces. Okay, finally drilling back down a bit. That should be a blow. Put the long bar on top.
Looks like he might have just, he was thinking about, you know, setting up for the dirty, but then the burns that followed showed that he thought against it afterwards.
Yeah, so that's going to be a bit of a dig there, up there for Sodium. DanV in the lead, 47,000 points now, and growing.
Down at the bottom, we are about to hit our, actually we're going to hit our transitions all around.
Yeah.
There's a transition for Alex T, 549. DanV will transition at 568. Eren at 503 and Sodium at 497. So our players on the left this time having the advantage, and Alex T missing the 5 tap over there. It's just going to be able to burn it down.
Yeah, it's going to cost him a couple of doubles and some efficiency.
And Eren's going to be able to close the gap by 1 Tetris as a result. Another Tetris over there for DanV, 644 to now 570 up top. Down at the bottom, 553 to now 604.
Okay, DanV pouring it on, turning that neck and neck game into, at one point, a 100,000 point lead. Sodium firing back just slightly. Still more than 2 Tetrises behind DanV.
Yeah, and it all stemmed from what happened on level 18, just that dig.
Yeah.
And he was able to survive it, but when you're going up against opponents as strong as this field is, getting into a dig of that size is going to lead to a deficit being generated. And right now, Eren's board is at a deficit as he's trying to find a way to fix this up. Able to get those pieces tapped over fast enough to the left. The well, or that hole needs to be reopened. Going to put more weight on that column 9. Or column 10, sorry.
Going to be cause more burns and widen that lead for Alex T. Now 120,000 points ahead.
Yeah, 768 for DanV, 688 for Sodium, 744 for Alex T, 651 for Eren.
Eren opened back up, and now Alex T with one with holes in the stack is going to have to do some burns to get back down. So Eren can't catch up here.
Yeah, and Eren, you know, down. You said earlier he was down by 120,000 points, but that lead has shrunk down to only 44,000. Alex T is now clean, and now up top, DanV. Oh, nice adjustment right there, avoiding committing to the burn because he saw what was next and is able to score Tetris and maintain just under 100,000 point lead, and it's going to increase that lead to 113,000. It's just those small plays like that that get executed by these players that can really make the difference.
I'm seeing huge swings just in the lead, like within moments. That's so different from what I'm used to seeing.
Ooh, early tuck over there from Eren. And those are some of the worst misdrops you could commit because it's very costly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's a long bar dependency on the left. There's a long bar dependency on the right. And even then, he still won't be able to score.
Gets the long bars he needs and is able to clear those down. So Eren back in more favorable shape. Opts not to open it up with a long bar. He's going to go for the dirty. Boom, Tetris for Eren.
And when you're in Eren's position, you kind of have to. Down by 153,000 points, you got to max out efficiency. Unless you're good with that rolling, you need to burn as little as possible. And DanV's going to top it at 975.
Oh, man.
You're looking at Eren's board, and things just spiraled out of control. Sodium only a Tetris and change away from completing the chase down.
Yeah, and Tetris there. Boom, Tetris to Sodium. Only 8,500 to go. Pretty much has it in the bag.
Yeah, triple is good enough, but down at the bottom, we are closing in a level 29 transition. And, ooh, Eren in trouble. He needs a long bar, not in a position to get a safe roll switch if he's working on it. Eren's going to top it at 964. Alex T at 1,030,000 points is good, and Sodium at 987 is also good. So Alex T takes game number 1, and Sodium takes game number 1.
Yeah, both games with those wildly swinging leads ending at just about the same time. So it looks like we're going to have a simul start next.
We go in 3, 2, 1, Tetris! So game 1 went to Alex T down at the bottom, and game 1 went to Alex, or not to Alex, to Sodium up top.
Up top, yeah, opposite. And being the winner there, we have some stats here for you. Some online facts. DanV was number 8 on the Premier poll. Sodium came in 17th.
And Sodium also managed to qual higher than DanV. And what the Premier Pool is players and organizers and people that watch a lot of classic Tetris come together to kind of like rank it how like they would do in Sports Center.
Right.
And so every month, and huge shout out to Pumpy Heart for putting that together. Every month we have a panel of like 25 or so players, organizers, and such that'll come and vote for who they think places in whatever location. And speaking of that, Alex T, the past 2 months, has been ranked number one in the Premier Pool.
Yeah. So it's interesting seeing how that unfolds. You have a player who's ranked number one in the Premier Pool here, Alex T, whereas Blue Scooty, number one seed. So what's stronger? We'll see if the poll result
if I'm not mistaken, they ended up on the same side of the bracket, too. So it is possible that they cross paths.
Yeah. Given the caliber and the history of what happened with those specific players this year, I think a lot of people would love to see that.
Yeah, on this particular side of the bracket, it is actually terrifying. You have, of course, these players that are on screen right now, and we already saw Scooty and Fractal play earlier.
Yeah.
You got players like Tristop, Huff, Wallbant, some of them playing on the other stage right now. It is definitely a scary bracket.
So this game, DanV up to a 93,000 point lead over Sodium, looking to turn the tide here. Alex T up by a Tetris, but boom, Tetris or Eren, evening it up, neck and neck.
Alex T having to do just a few minor burns, able to open up the well right there, nice and clean, takes the lead temporarily before Eren takes it right back. And DanV running into a slowdown, does have that 72,000 point cushion, and actually, DanV's going to go aggressive. He's going to take the skim and go for the Tetris. He's not trying to give Sodium any quarter.
There it is, boom, dirty Tetris for DanV.
And a boom Tetris over there for Sodium.
Alex T with a lot of traffic on that board. He's going to have to do some burns, get that cleaned up.
And you can tell that he's not quite happy with that. Eren with a clean board, nice adjustment.
Yeah, Eren looking real good right now. Bags down another Tetris.
Yeah, going to be able to take a small lead over Alex T. We are just over halfway through the level 18 portion of our game.
Good scores, though. High Tetris rate, 78%, 74%. Could be 600K incoming.
Sodium, good pieces right there. That's going to get the well open, and now Sodium's Tetris ready. Almost down by 100,000 points again, similar to what we saw in game number one.
Yeah, just like game one, but it ended all so fast and turned it around, and the results didn't match what you saw early on.
Yeah, exactly like what we said earlier, and that's why, it's important. Like, you can have a great 18. The majority of your 19 is good, but if you don't finish strong, you can end up losing that game.
Yeah. DanV keeping that lead. Both players ready to score. Just need that long bar.
Still waiting on it. Running into a drought.
Yeah, drought for both players.
Had to go for a Z flat.
Kind of playing a game of long bar chicken. Sodium gets it first. Boom, Tetris for Sodium.
And nice. DanV finds it as well after opening up the well.
Yeah, both players able to stack high and survive. Take advantage of that long bar and score. Alex T's board waiting for a T-spin to happen. Doesn't get it. Is going to have to
He found a pretty efficient way to burn out of that.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, and while these players are stacking, we got to give a shout out to actually John Green for a $150 contribution to the Matcherino.
Thank you, actually, John Green.
No, he helped me a lot throughout high school, especially when I had to take AP World History. The Crash Course videos are amazing. And right now, it looks like we're going to get a Crash Course in the 19 shortly, because these players are anywhere from 2 to 3 Tetrises away. Alex T, with perfect play, could get 4. Make that 3. And ooh, misdrop over there for Alex T. There are a couple ways to solve this. I want to see how he decides to approach this.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh.
And do we see the spin tuck? Oh, no, it's going to go for the double tuck. Left side is a bit precarious.
T would be great there, but nope.
And yeah, just not getting the pieces that he's looking for. Oh, I like that double C's burn setup.
Yeah.
A 581 transition for Eren and only leads by 29,000 points. And a 554 for Alex T, 605 for DanV, 574 for Sodium.
Up on top, DanV, super strong game.
Honestly, very strong all around and very close too.
Yeah, actually. Everybody looking really good right now. Boards are all clean, waiting for long bars. Boom, Tetris for Alex T.
Another drought ensues over there. Oh, there's droughts all over the screen here. 20+ piece droughts on everyone's counter right now.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Alex with some amazing maneuverability.
And Sodium is able to find the Tetris out of the drought. Let's see if our players at the bottom can.
Alex
Eren was, Alex T couldn't.
Okay, he's almost getting the right pieces to do that. Boom, Tetris to Alex T is able to get the Tetris and clean that board up, but that's going to cost a little bit in pace. So Eren at a 53,000 point lead now.
686,000 for Eren, 632 for Alex T, 731 for DanV, and 723 for Sodium.
Hey, we are neck and neck up on top. So Sodium has been able to reduce the deficit that DanV was leading with this entire time.
But DanV still trying to maintain some level of pressure. He is up by a Tetris. Nice dirty center roll Tetris over there for Alex T. As Eren has built up almost a 100,000 point lead, but Alex T is behind in lines. So a little bit of a pace discrepancy there. But a true lead for Eren nonetheless.
Oh yeah, now they've been pretty much neck and neck up on top. Sodium needs to get back open and gets long bar for Tetris. 10,000 point lead now for DanV.
Tetris will be scored by Alex T as well. 889 up top to 848. Sodium would love an L piece. There it is. That's a split double. He's going to go for an S flat. It works out. Well is open. And a Tetris will be scored. Down at the bottom, 852 for Alex T, 862. And we are neck and neck down at the bottom.
Yeah, that was...
That lead that Eren had just evaporated. He's trying to build it back up right now after scoring a couple of Tetrises, but Alex T is continuing to put more pressure on Eren.
Mm-hmm. Now this last few moments, yeah, Alex T has really turned it on and turned that mess into something clean, and it's just been raining the Tetrises now.
953 for Alex T, 994 for Eren,
Yeah,
so a couple thousand points away from the
max
max.
for DanV.
Yeah, we do have the max up there for DanV. Level 28, Sodium on level 27, 2 away from the max.
Max for Eren.
There's one Tetris for Sodium. DanV hits 29 with 1,049,000 points.
Okay, Sodium's clean. Skimming now. Just,
Alex T
not
also
getting,
having to do a lot of burns too.
Yeah. No longer. Okay, there it is. Boom, Tetris for Sodium. Max out there.
Eren
so
with
all players maxed out, so I'll hit the cowbell.
1.1 million for Eren, and he's tapping on 29. He was trying to set up for something, can't get it. There's a 44,000 point chase down for Alex T. Now 8,000 points following that Tetris as our players up top are battling. Only 4,000 points remain. A double won't be enough, but a single will. There it is. Alex T completes the chase down, but up top, 1,087,000, 1,033,000. Sodium with the cleaner board, but both players are alive here on level 31.
Yeah, both players are alive and burning.
Sodium just trying to get the board back to a Tetris scoring position. And DanV is set up for a Tetris. This will be a level 32 Tetris if he can find the eyepiece.
Yeah, where is it? Where is that?
There it is.
Has
he was the Tetris ready, but he gets it ready again.
Okay, there it is. Boom,
Tetris is scored. But now there is a hole that has been generated. He's not going to risk the row 2, is he? No, he's just going to try and take some burns, but DanV has a 101,000 point lead. And Sodium is experiencing trouble. That left side needs to be addressed. He temporarily covers it up with the O piece.
He's going to go aggressive. Okay, he's got to burn back down.
We still have a couple of levels to go.
The level 34, 100,000 point lead. What do you do?
Looks like Sodium's trying to find good pieces to get set up. Oh, Sodium is set up.
Yes,
Tetris is going to be scored. 1,129,000 for Sodium.
Yeah.
1,209,000 for DanV, but DanV is already at level 36. Sodium is at level 35. He has a little bit more room or runway. Sodium going aggressive.
Yeah.
Covers up the well right when the long bar came. DanV, beautiful triple. Hangs a piece over to left, but knocks out a Tetris.
Yes.
1,277,000 now for DanV. As
Yes.
Sodium,
Sodium
nice
knows what
tuck
to
right
do.
there. Good delay
Okay,
burn.
needs a long bar. There it is. Boom. Tetris for Sodium. But DanV has been scoring as well, so that 94,000 point deficit is still there.
Another Tetris for Sodium.
45.
DanV is running in trouble. He needs to get an eyepiece over now.
Okay.
That deficit is not. Oh my gosh, that's the Tetris
that
for
does
Sodium.
it.
And
Sodium
that
at
does
the
it.
very moment.
120 points was good enough, and Sodium clutches out game number 2.
Down to the wire on that one. Wow. Evening up the set. Or was it DanV?
No. Sodium,
2.
yes,
Okay.
that's Sodium for 2.
Yeah, Sodium for 2.
Oh my gosh. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's crazy.
another-
DanV held on
always-
to that lead.
That lead.
He held on
Such
to
a
it.
whole
He
lead. Yeah,
extended
it's
it.
just, I can't believe it.
It was just that one situation on 37. They know they were close. We saw Blue Scooty play on Super Kill Screen. We saw how fast those pieces come down. And then DanV's like, well, I got to do this. Sodium's hot on my heels. And just in the span of just one level, Sodium was able to overcome that score.
And 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Tris. T starts.
Oh, we get a little bit of a mirror tris down at the bottom. Oh, what the heck? Oh, Eren actually opted to go for... Wait. Slightly different stacks, but very similar.
People just stacking up and just waiting for that Tetris. However way you can.
Oh, I like that placement over there from Eren, intentionally creating the long bar dependency because the long bar was next.
Yeah. A situational awareness.
Wow, look at the top. That is a drought to open up with.
Yeah.
And there it is, first Tetris up top scored by DanV after a 34-piece draw. I believe that's what it was.
Yeah, right off the start, it can kind of create a little bit of a mess and throw you off. Just want to get that first Tetris on the board so you can start stacking again. Okay, on bottom, both players Tetris ready. More droughts forming. Okay, that one wasn't too long. Both players bang down that Tetris.
Yeah, as of right now, things are looking pretty stable. Sodium is getting up high. We are running into a slight drought.
Yeah, these seeds are just drought here, drought there, droughts everywhere.
You get a drought. You get a drought. You get a drought.
For free. Okay. Yeah, here you go again. Another mini drought. But Eren with the Tetris. Alex T having to cover up the hole, but opens it back up. Bangs down the Tetris right after. Neck and neck early on.
Yeah, all players just really stable stacks here. Especially down at the bottom, we saw, Eren had a lead, and, if there's any consolation prize with Eren, having the tapping play style, he was more efficient up until that 29, and it required Alex T to play in the 29 in order to complete the chase down.
That's right. I wonder if Eren is the last hope for the tappers here today, going into the top 16.
Yeah, because, like we said earlier, just making the bracket 5 maxes was safe for a incredibly low seed.
Yeah.
Not even, mid-seed what it was like last year.
My heart breaks for Das this year. I kind of wanted to see you and Jeff, make gold again.
Well, I just wasn't as good as I should have been. That's, skill issue on my part.
Well, I do get to commentate with you today. So
yeah, that's the consolation. I get to commentate with you, round 1.
And I think the audience is going to appreciate that too. So we all win. Everybody wins. Kind of like what happened to me last night.
But right now, 338 from DanV, 292 over here from Sodium, 334 for Alex T, 377 from Eren. And we're kind of separated by this 1 to 2 Tetris mark. So
yeah,
not necessarily neck and neck, but very close.
Yeah, close games all around. And they're kind of within striking distance. Although we're seeing that pattern where DanV gets that early lead.
And kind of similar for Eren, too. Eren's been showing some really good efficiency here. And And actually, efficiency-wise, this score, 423, when you're at this like 84 line mark, that's what you're looking for if you're trying to get a 650K transition. And if there's a game to pull that off in a competitive setting, it's game 3 when you're on the verge of being eliminated.
Yeah, this is it. This is win your game to stay in the match and the tournament. Time for both DanV and Eren.
And ooh, Sodium is going to set up a flat burn. Knocks down a Tetris first.
More Tetrises for Eren. 518, great pace here for Eren. It's going to be a monster score no matter what. 84% Tetris rate. And is Tetris ready, as is Alex. And there's the long bar. Boom, Tetris for Eren. 543 at 112 lines.
We're looking at some very powerful transitions
down
at the bottom. And up top, DanV, once again, having that lead over Sodium in level 18.
100,000 point lead. Here we go again. Can DanV hold on to it?
Closing in on the level 19 transition. And oh, DanV, that is a massive chasm, and that's not the board you want with only 6 lines left to go. And the board's starting to get in a very uncomfortable position. He's got to find a way out of this, and in the midst of a drought, too. All right, there is the long bar. All right, there it is, DanV. That burns a single into a triple, so he should be fine for transition. Down at the bottom, a 639 here at 132 lines for Eren.
Excellent for transition scores for both. Alex T catching up a little bit. We are neck and neck going into level 19 for Alex T versus Eren on the bottom.
We do have a transition for Sodium up top. DanV has been spending majority of this post-transition just trying to get the board in a workable state. Another Tetris over there scored for DanV.
Oh, Eren's board needs to burn down on the right to make the left side accessible. He's getting the job done with that triple will really help.
Another Tetris over there for Sodium. 597 to now 647.
Okay, Eren getting it back under control. But that's gonna...
Ooh, missed drop over there from Alex T. Both players at the bottom.
Yeah, both players at the bottom ended up with a mess and now have to dig. So that's going to start affecting those monster paces that they were on. Whoa, what kind of spin was that from Alex T? That looked insane.
That's the kind of stuff that you have to do to try and maintain a certain level of efficiency. 728 now to 739.
Yeah. Alex in that dig now. Doing very well. Very efficient. Nice. Clean again. Needs a long bar. Boom, Tetris for Alex T.
Down by Tetris at this point. Up top, 792 for DanV, 700,000 for Sodium. As DanV still holding on to that 100,000 point lead.
Eren now back in command here. Was ahead by a Tetris. Board's clean. Boom, Tetris for Eren.
Yeah, 3 players on the board got a Tetris at the same time. Nice adjustment over there for Sodium. He's doing the best that he can to try and keep up with DanV. And we saw how much pressure DanV was able to put on Sodium towards the end of the last game.
Yeah, and it's the same pattern. DanV with that early lead. Will the complexion change once again once we hit level 29 speed? 100,000 point lead. Here we are again with DanV.
And it's a battle down at the bottom for Eren's survival. Able to get pieces over to the left. Beautiful LNJ placements. That left side is a massive concern.
Eren really wanting to dig back down. I mean, we're on level 26, but 29 is looming.
Oh, didn't complete the rotation. Needs something.
Love a flat burn.
Beautiful pole
nice.
vault. Nice placements over there from Eren, trying to stay alive.
Oh, no. Hole in that left is a big concern. Gets the long bar in. T, oh, and that's not going to be enough. So Alex T is going to take the round, and the match will advance.
Up top, 1,066,000. Make that 1.1 million for DanV before 29. Sodium at 941.
So yeah, if DanV wants to turn this around, now is the time. 160,000 point lead. Can Sodium catch up and put this away, or will DanV turn it around?
And DanV, he has to. His tournament life is on the line. Oh, that's a misdrop right there on 29. Sodium still behind, and by a considerable margin as the drought hits. Sodium transitions at 992 just about, and DanV's going to survive. So this is it, 29. DanV with almost a 150,000 point advantage, and the stacks are clean. There's a Tetris
nice
for
Tetris for
DanV.
DanV there. Still playing aggressive, even past 29.
It looks like he's trying to get set up for another one, going for some safety burns.
DanV on fire now, not letting up, even with that kind of lead.
And Sodium's not able to find the success that he's looking for on 29. He's trying to find a clean setup, one that he's able to accept the risk of, and these pieces just aren't falling in his favor. That's a triple.
Triple. That's not what's going to do it when you're almost 200,000 points behind, and DanV not letting up.
DanV is having to do some burns, but Sodium is not in a position to score to try and capitalize. And we are still early in the post 29, so there still is a chance for Sodium to start.
Yeah, those Tetrises are worth a lot.
Oh, so. Sodium, gonna just go for the triple. And DanV's trying to get set up for one. The hang on the left. Gonna have to take the triple now. That 5-tap has to be hit.
Yeah.
This is crucial.
Okay, got nice. DanV safe, maintaining the 185,000 point lead. Is not in trouble now. Oh, okay, one misdrop there, but is able to resolve it. LJ dependent.
DanV still trying to burn out. This would be a perfect opportunity for Sodium to score Tetrises, but DanV is almost clean.
Sodium's not turning on the aggression. We haven't seen a Tetris in a long time on Sodium's side.
But DanV is also running into trouble. The board is just starting to elevate higher and higher, and Sodium...
We're at level 36 here.
Nice setup over there from Sodium. The column 9 is set up over there, but he has to take another triple. DanV's fighting for survival, and Sodium just not able to find any Tetrises. Yeah, massive S-Spire in the center.
Oh, man. Both players, have let off on the gas just because the pieces have not been favorable.
Sodium has to go all in at this point. That's another triple.
39's closing in. Their time for Sodium is running out. DanV.
That Tetris might have beat the dagger.
Yeah.
And that's another one from DanV.
Another one from DanV. That might seal the deal there at 39. Super kill screen. DanV with 1.4 million. And Sodium is out of time.
He can't do anything. Only 5 lines left.
And DanV takes one
on the screeching halt on Sodium's momentum.
Yeah, wow, that was exciting. So what will happen now? Will DanV able to maintain this momentum with this early lead that he has in all of these rounds? Keep up the aggression, and turn this into a reverse sweep.
Here we go in
3, 2, 1. Tetris. Stress. Okay, DanV versus Sodium. DanV looking to turn this momentum into possibly a reverse sweep. Sodium wanting to close this out. DanV still needing to win this round to stay in the match and the tournament.
Yeah, and this is a best of 5, and whenever you're in the position that DanV is in, you just got to take it one game at a time. You know what I think that's the biggest part of what DanV has done with the game so far is he knows where he's made his mistakes in this set alone.
And he's improved it.
Yes,
made
adjustments. And made adjustments on those mistakes.
Yeah, and actually
being able to do that not only shows how skilled of a Tetris player he is, but also how skilled of a competitor, just a raw competitor that he is too.
When you know what you got to do and then you execute. And that's what we're seeing here. But Sodium, strong player as well, is able to play, played to super kill screen. That was a double super kill screen match.
Yeah, it was. We saw him play. We saw it in game 2 actually, where Sodium, he played safe enough. We know what we've got kind of from Sodium is that you can't count on him to top out on those 29 speeds. And even a deficit of 100,000 points, Sodium closed it like that at level 37.
Yep.
But a deficit of 250,000 points, that's a bit of a different story.
Yeah.
Right now, no big deficits have been built up. Very close. 142,000 for Sodium, 122,000 for DanV.
Yeah, so the calm before the storm here. We know how crazy it's gonna get.
And it looks like Sodium this time is just being slightly more efficient.
DanV with the Vits. Nicely
done. I think soon we got to make a Vits T-shirt for CTWC.
Yeah, I wonder if Java or somebody can make, you know, a version of Tetris that senses when a Vitz is made and can do something about it, reward you, I don't know, set off a flag, you can have the Vitz World Cup or something.
The Vitz World Cup would be interesting. I would love to see just something wacky like that.
Yeah. Like, ideally, as a game designer, I would make it so that if you make a Vitz, and then the pieces within that, the horizontal axis of the Vitz is a Tetris, they score more points or something. That would be cool.
Oh, yeah. That'd be pretty cool. What is cool, though, is the paces that are being put on by these players. 302 for Sodium here.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking like if you want a 650 transition. And DanV, 264, I believe
less than halfway to transition here.
Yeah, I believe DanV score. Oh, the JD spin from DanV, but a misdrop immediately after. But there can be a Z spin. Yeah, no,
oh.
He accidentally unflips it. A 20-piece drought ensues as well. But he's finding ways to burn it down safely, keeping the well open. Didn't want to risk covering up by going for that triple. And, oh, right as soon as he covers up, gets the long bar.
Yeah, so this is Sodium's chance to reverse the momentum. And is only able to get about a Tetris ahead with that. Okay, now with another Tetris there. 58,000 points ahead is Sodium.
Nice. DanV filling in that long bar dependency, and interestingly enough, decided not to create an isolated dependency.
Yeah, just threw down a bunch of long bars
Missed
there.
a rotation, and you can see he was kind of shocked.
Yeah, some control and rotation issues here with DanV. Dealing with the mess as it comes, but that's not going to win.
That was a beautiful burn.
Yeah, that was nice. Kept it clean, and his Tetris ready.
And now we actually find ourselves in unfamiliar territory. This is the first time we've seen Sodium take
the early lead
here on 18.
Yeah, the early lead by Sodium. Not something that we've seen until now.
Sodium now looking for an eyepiece to fill in the dependency. And Sodium is also slightly behind in lines. Nothing too serious. Oh. It looked intentional, but at the same time, it also looked, it's kind of oxymoronic statement. It looked like an intentional misdrop. C-spin, nice.
Okay. Yeah, DanV's board has been kind of in this weird state where it can't seem to stay open for very long. It turns into kind of a dig every once in a while. And
we got a Nesher's Champs bug right here.
Uh-oh. Yeah, we can't see Sodium's screen.
Oh, no. DanV, what is
DanV
this?
is
A
in
39-piece drought. 40-piece. DanV tops out at 384.
And Sodium's going to take that. Being ahead, I don't think it can't not be ahead.
I mean, at the time where it said that, you know, his score cut out, he was ahead.
All right, thanks, guys. Here we are. We're with Sodium Overdose, who just defeated the bad boy from the UK, DanV. Sodium, you defeated the player that actually beat Blue Scooty back in the French Championship. So, kind of thought process going into you now that you've beaten Dan, who beat Scooty?
I just wanted to stick to one game plan the entire time, and that was line out as long as possible and wait for my opponent to make a mistake. That was the name of the game for me. And basically every game, you saw that line out game, I lost by over like 300,000, but basically I just wanted to stick to the plan that I had ahead of time and not change anything on the fly. So I just kept waiting for my opponent to make a mistake because I knew it's a marathon and not just a race.
Now, you're someone that's been very patient. You're someone that's an OG, technically, now, as far as competitive Tetris is going. You've been involved for so long. What is it that made you come back out year after year?
It's really just the people. I don't think I'd be playing this game still if it was just me. Like back in the 2000s, when all the OGs had to play by themselves and use like Tetris concept, I doubt I'd still be playing, but it's really just the people here, like you, Kingsman, Vince, all the organizers, all the players, that just made me love competing, and I think I'll just do this as long as it exists.
Well, we're certainly glad to have you here in the community. Sodium, you get to play on Championship Sunday, top 16. Are you looking to make it to the top 8 or even better?
I've never beat Alex T before, but I don't think he's ever beat me before, so we'll just see tomorrow.
Sounds good. Sodium, thanks so much, brother. We'll see you tomorrow at the action there. Sharky, Chris, back to you.
Hello everyone, I'm your underwater host Sharky. I want to say thank you all so much for watching. And now that we're at the end of the video, you know what time it is. it's time for today's lore drop. Now I hope you're excited because the next pair of matches is Huff versus Wallband and Le Captain aka Somalian versus DMJ. Now this time I actually want to dive into the second match first because I have quite a bit to talk about regarding Huff versus Wallband. The second match consists of, once again, Somalian versus DMJ. Now we've talked about Somalian a bit in a prior video, so let's talk more about DMJ. DMJ would make his CTWC debut in 2021, where he would place 30th that year. Now he had a tough bracket that year with Dog and PokeNerd in it, and the latter already having some proficiency with rolling, and them two combined making one of the greatest matches at the time, or rather the greatest game at the time, in CTWC history. Now he would make his IRL debut in 2022, where he would make it to top 16 with a final placement of 14th. He would come back in 2023, but would get knocked out in round 1, placing 22nd. So being the player with a bye out of the two, he is just one win away from matching his best performance in CTWC so far, which is at top 16. Somalian is also rolling, so the match does have the potential to be a good one and go in really either player's favor. Now, the match we skipped over was Huff versus Wallband, and there's some stuff to be said about Wallband, but let me first fill you in on Huff, because the track record is insane. So Huff would have their first CTWC debut in 2020, where they would have one of the most legendary runs ever. First, Huff came out of the E bracket. That bracket had players like Jonas, Eric, and Redshirt to name a few. Not only, after Huff won that bracket, did Huff upset JD in top 8, the favorite to win the tournament, but he would end up placing top 4 that year going down to Dog. And if you thought that, okay, maybe that was a lucky run, you know, rookie's luck or whatever, well, you got another thing coming. Huff in 2021 would have another stelling one. Being one of the first to adapt rolling, Huff had an advantage, and even though he had an advantage, the bracket wasn't easy. He had to go through players like Sodium, Cheese, and Sidneb in his bracket. Huff made it to top 8 and defeated JD again in top 4 and placed 2nd in that tournament overall, losing once again to Dog. Now that was just the first 2 years in CTWC. Huff in 2022 would have a strong showing, but would regress to top 8, which, don't get me wrong, when top 8 consists of players like Eric, Fractal, Dog, Andy, Broden, Hydrant, Sidneb, I think that's pretty good company. Huff would return again in 2023 and place top 8 again with a final placement of 5th. So if you were paying attention to everything that I said, you'll probably notice one key thing. Huff in CTWC, ever since the debut in 2020, has always placed top 8 or higher. We are talking about LeBron levels of longevity and consistency. Okay, but in all seriousness though, Huff has achieved a lot looking specifically only at CTWC. Now, Wallband, being Huff's opponent, is going to have a tough time, but at the same time, Wallband is one of the best players in Canada, and was able to defeat Doge rather convincingly. So while Huff is favored based on historical performances alone, Wallband could be the first player to knock Huff out before top 8, but that's just something that we'll have to see in tomorrow's video, so make sure to tune in tomorrow. Anyways, that's all for today. Definitely in this lore drop there was a lot of a focus on Huff, but the CTWC career that Huff has amassed has definitely been something that I felt is worth sharing to a considerable level. So if you made it this far, be sure to let me know in the comments by including lore drop in your comments somewhere. I'm starting to see more and more people stick around for these segments, and it's definitely making me want to continue making them, even though it might prolong the production of these videos just a little bit longer. Anyways, if you enjoyed this match, leave a like. Comment down your favorite moment below. Me personally, it was game 2 between Sodium and DanV. The back and forth, the clutch at the end, it was one of the most memorable matches that I've casted this year. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel to support CTWC. And if you really want to support us, become a channel member today. Well, I'm your underwater host Sharky, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow for the next match of CTWC 2024.